and honest daughters of Maharaj Daksha, such as Shraddha, Maitri, and Daya, whose blessings were always effective, bathed Maharaj Gaya with sanctified water. Indeed, they were very satisfied with Maharaj Gaya. The planet Earth, personified, came as a cow, and as though she saw her calf, she delivered milk profusely when she saw all the good qualities of Maharaj Gaya. In other words, Maharaj Gaya was able to derive all benefits from the earth and thus satisfy the desires of his citizens. However, he personally had no desire. Uh, Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The earth over which Maharaj Gaya ruled is compared to a cow. The good qualities whereby he maintained and ruled the citizens are compared to the calf. A cow delivers milk in the presence of her calf. Similarly, the cow on or earth fulfilled the desires of Maharaj Gaya, who was able to utilize all the resources of the earth to benefit his citizens. Well, that's good. This was possible because he was bathed in sanctified water by the honest daughters of Bhakta. Unless a king or ruler is blessed by authorities, he cannot rule the citizens very satisfactorily. Through the good qualities of the ruler, the citizens become very happy and well qualified. Text 11. Although King Gaia had no personal desire for sense gratification, all his desires were fulfilled by virtue of his performance of Vedic rituals. All the kings with whom Maharaj Gaya had to fight were forced to fight on religious principles. They were very satisfied with this fighting, and they would present all kinds of gifts to him. Similarly, all the Brahmanas in his kingdom were very satisfied with King Gaya's munificent charities. Consequently, the Brahmanas contributed a sixth of their pious activities for King Gaya's benefit in the next life. Wow, that's nice. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As a Kshatriya or emperor, Maharaj Gaya sometimes had to fight with subordinate kings to maintain his government, but the subordinate kings were not dissatisfied with him because they knew that he fought for religious principles. Consequently, they accepted their subordination and offered all kinds of gifts to him. Similarly, the Brahmanas who performed Vedic rituals were so satisfied with the king that they very readily agreed to part with a sixth of their pious activities for his benefit in the next life. Thus, the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas were all satisfied with Maharaj Gaya because of his proper administration. In other words, Maharaj Gaya satisfied the Kshatriya kings by his fighting and satisfied the Brahmanas by his charities. The Vaishyas were also encouraged by kind words and affectionate dealing, and due to Maharaj Gaya's constant sacrifices, the Sudras were satisfied by sumptuous food and charity. Very nice. He knew how to satisfy everyone. Okay, in this way, Maharaj Gaya kept all the citizens very satisfied. When brahmanas and saintly persons are honored, they part with their pious activities, giving them to those who honor them and render them service. Therefore, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.34, Tad vidi paripatena paripasnena sevaya. One should try to approach a spiritual master submissively and render service unto him. Text number 12. In Maharaja Gaya's sacrifices, there was a great supply of the intoxicant known as soma. King Indra used to come and become intoxicated by drinking large quantities of soma rasa. Also, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the Yajna Purusha, also came and personally accepted all the sacrifices offered unto him with pure and firm devotion in the sacrificial arena. Well, it looks like uh, Lord Vishnu did not take part in drinking the Somarasa, but uh, King Indra used to come and become intoxicated by drinking large quantities of Somarasa. Purport: Maharaj Gaya was so perfect that he satisfied all the demigods who were headed by the heavenly king Indra. Lord Vishnu himself also personally came to the sacrificial arena to accept the offerings. Although Maharaj Gaya did not want them, he received all the blessings of the demigods and the Supreme Lord himself. Okay, text 13. Uh, when the Supreme Lord is pleased by person's actions, automatically all the demigods, human beings, animals, birds, beasts, creepers, trees, grass, and all other living entities, beginning with Lord Brahma, are pleased. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the super soul of everyone, and he is by nature fully pleased. Nonetheless, he came to the arena of Maharaja Gaya and said, I am fully pleased. Text 14 and 15. In the womb of Gayanti, Maharaj Gaya begot three sons, named Chitrarata, Sugati, and Avarodhana. In the womb of his wife, Urna, Chitrata begot a son named Samrat. The wife of Samrat was Utkala, and in her womb, Samrat begot a son named Marichi. In the womb of his wife, Bindumati, Marichi begot a son named Bindu. In the womb of his wife, Saraga, Bindu begot a son named Madhu. In the womb of his wife, named Sumana, Madhu begot a son named Viravrata. In the womb of his wife, Boja, Viravrata begot two sons named Mantu and Pramantu. In the womb of his wife, Satya, Mantu begot a son named Bovana, and in the womb of his wife, Dusana, Bovana begot a son named Swasta. In the womb of his wife, Virochana, Twasta begot a son named Viraja. The wife of Viraja was Visuchi, and in her womb Viraja begot 100 sons and one daughter. Of all these sons, the son named Satyajit was predominant. Okay. Second. There is a famous verse about King Viraja. Because of his high qualities and wide fame, King Viraja became the jewel of the dynasty of King Priyavrata, just as Lord Vishnu, by his transcendental potency, decorates and blesses the demigods. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Within a garden, a flowering tree attains a good reputation because of its fragrant flowers. Similarly, if there is a famous man in a family, he is compared to a fragrant flower in the forest. Because of him, an entire family can become famous in history. Because Lord Krishna took birth in the Yadu dynasty, and the Yadavas have remained famous for all time. Because of King Viraja's appearance, the family of Maharaj Priyavrata has remained famous for all time. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the fifth chapter, 15th, of the fifth canto, 15th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Glories of the Descendants of King Priyavrata. Okay, very good. So now we're going to hear chapter 16, entitled A Description of Jambu Dwipa. Oh, that's good. While describing the character of Maharaj Priyavrata and his descendants, Sukadeva Goswami also described Meru Mountain, wow, and the planetary system known as Bhumandala. Bhumandala is like a lotus flower, and its 7 islands are compared to the whorl of the lotus. The place known as Jambudvipa is in the middle of that whorl, Whorl. In Jambudvipa, there is a mountain known as Sumeru, which is made of solid gold. Wow. The height of this mountain is 84,000 yojanas, of which 16,000 yojanas are below the earth. Its width is estimated to be 32,000 yojanas at its summit and 16,000 yojanas at its foot. 1 yojana equals approximately 8 miles. This king of the mountains, Sumeru, Sumeru, is the support of the planet Earth. Wow. Okay. On the southern side of the land known as Ilavruta,
Ilavruta.
Ilavruta, Varsa, are the mountains known as Himavan, Hemakuta, and Nisada. And on the northern side are the mountains Nila, Sveta, and Sringa. Similarly, on the eastern and western side, they are Malyavan and Gandhamadan. Okay,
Kandamadana.
Gandhamadan. Gandhamadana. Two large mountains. Surrounding Sumeru Mountain are four mountains known as Mandara, Meru Mandara, Suparsava, and Kumuda, each 10,000 yojanas long and 10,000 yojanas high. On these four mountains, there are trees. 1.1
Thousand.
common 1,100 yojanas high. A mango tree, a rose apple tree, a kadamba tree, and a banyan tree. There are also lakes full of milk, honey, sugarcane juice, and pure water. Oh man, what a place that is. These lakes can fulfill all desires. There are also gardens named Nandana, Chitrarata, Vairajaka, and Sarvatobhadra. On the side of Suparsava mountain is a kadamba tree with streams of honey flowing from its hollows. And on Kumuda mountain, there is a banyan tree named Sata Valsa, from whose roots flow rivers containing milk, yogurt, and many other desirable things. Surrounding Sumeru Mountain, like filaments of the world of the lotus, are 20 mountains ranges, such as Kuranga, Kura,
Purara.
Kurara, Kushumba, Vaikanka, and Trikuta. To the east of the Sumeru Mountain are mountains Jatara and Devakuta. To the west are Havana and Pariyatra.
Pariyata.
And to the south are Kailasa and Karavira. And to the north, the Trisinga and Makara. These eight mountains are about 18,000 yojanas long, 2,000 yojanas wide, and 2,000 yojanas high. On the summits of Mount Sumeru is Brahmapuri, the residence of Lord Brahma. Each of its four sides is 10,000 yojanas long. Surrounding Brahmapuri are the cities of King Indra and seven other demigods. These cities are one-fourth the size of Brahmapuri. Wow. Text number 1. This is Canto 5, Chapter 16, text number 1. King Parikshit said to Sukadeva Goswami, O Brahman, you have already informed me that the radius of Bhu Mandala extends as far as the sun spreads its light and heat, and as far as the moon and all the stars can be seen. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, it is stated that the planetary system known as Bhu Mandala extends to the limits of the sunshine. According to modern science, second, according to modern science, the sunshine reaches Earth from a distance of 93 million miles. If we calculate, according to this modern information, 93 million miles can be considered the radius of Bhumandala. In the Gayatri mantra, we chant Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. The word Bhur refers to Bhumandala. Tat Savitur Varenyam. The sunshine spreads throughout Bhumandala. Therefore, the sun is worshipable. The stars, which are known as nakshatra, are not different suns, as the modern astronomers suppose. From Bhagavad Gita 10:21, we understand that the stars are similar to the moon, nakshatranam aham sasi. Like the moon, the stars reflect the sunshine. Apart from our modern distinguished estimations of where the planetary systems are located, we can understand that the sky and its various planets were studied long, long before Srimad Bhagavatam was compiled. Sukadeva Goswami explained the location of the planets, and this indicates that the information was known long, long before Sukadeva Goswami related it to Maharaj Pariksit. The location of the various planetary systems was not unknown to the sages who flourished in the Vedic age. Okay. Text 2. My dear Lord, the rolling wheels of Maharaja Priyavrata's chariot created 7 ditches in which the 7 oceans came into existence. Wow. Because of these 7 oceans, Bhumandala is divided into 7 islands. You have given a very general description of their measurement, names, and characteristics. Now I wish to know of them in detail. Kindly fulfill my desire. Okay. Text number 3. When the mind is fixed upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his eternal feature made of the material modes of nature, the gross universal form, it is brought to the platform of pure goodness. In that transcendental position, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, who in his subtler form
Settler.
is self-effulgent and beyond the modes of nature. Oh my Lord, please describe vividly how that form which covers the entire universe is perceived. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj Pariksit had already been advised by his spiritual master, Sukadeva Goswami, to think of the universal form of the Lord, and therefore, following the advice of his spiritual master, he continuously thought of that form. The universal form is certainly material, but because everything is an expansion of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, ultimately nothing is material. Therefore, Pariksit Maharaj's mind was saturated with spiritual consciousness. Srila Rupa Goswami has stated, Prapaching Kataya Buddhya Hari Sambandhi Vastuna Mumukshubhi Parityago Vairagyam Phalukatyate. Everything, even that which is material, is connected with the Supreme Personality of God. Therefore, everything should be engaged in the service of the Lord. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur translates this verse as follows. Hari Sevaya Yaha Haya Anukula Vishaya Baliya Tahara Yage Haya Bula. One should not give up anything connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking it material or enjoyable for the material senses. Even the senses, when purified, are spiritual. When Maharaj Parikshit was thinking of the universal form of the Lord, his mind was certainly situated on the transcendental platform. Therefore, although he might not have had any reason to be concerned with detailed information of the universe, he was thinking of it in the relationship with the Supreme Lord, and therefore such geographical knowledge was not material, but transcendental. Elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.20, Narada Muni has said, Idam hi Vishwam Bhagavan Ivaitara. The entire universe is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although it appears different from him, therefore, although Parikshit Maharaja had no need for geographical knowledge of this universe, that knowledge was also spiritual and transcendental because he was thinking of the entire universe as an expansion of the energy of the Lord. In our preaching work also, we deal with so much property and money and so many books brought and sold, but because these dealings all pertain to the Krishna consciousness movement. That is absorbed in thoughts of such management does not mean that is outside of Krishna consciousness. If one rigidly observes the regulative principle of chanting 16 rounds of the Maha Mantra every day, dealings with the material world for the sake of spreading the Krishna consciousness movement are not different from the spiritual cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Very happy to hear that statement by Prabhupada. Okay. So, if one rigidly observes the regulative principle of chanting 16 rounds of the Maha Mantra every day, his dealings with the material world for the sake of spreading the Krishna consciousness movement are not different from the spiritual cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Haribol. Very interesting statement. Text 4. Text 4. The great Rishi, Sukadeva Goswami said, my dear king, there is no limit to the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's material energy. Second. This material world is a transformation of the material qualities, sattva guna, rajaguna, and tamaguna. Yet no one could possibly explain it perfectly, even in a lifetime as long as that of Brahma. No one in the material world is perfect, and an imperfect person could not describe this material universe accurately. Even after the continued speculation, O king, I shall nevertheless try to explain to you the principal regions, such as the Goloka, Bhu, and Bhuloka, with their names, forms, measurements, and various symptoms. Wow, this is real knowledge. Purport. The material world is only 1/4 of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's creation, but it is unlimited and impossible for anyone to know or describe, even with the qualification of a life as long as that of Brahman, who lives for millions and millions of years. Wow, just imagine. Modern scientists and astronomers try to explain the cosmic situation and the vastness of space, and some of them believe that all the glittering stars are different suns. From Bhagavad Gita, however, we understand that all these stars, nakshatras, are like the moon in that they reflect the sunshine. They are not independent luminaries. Bhuloka is explained to be the portion of outer space through which the heat and light of the sun extend. Therefore, it is natural to conclude that this universe extends in space as far as we can see and encompasses the glittering stars. Shiva Sukadeva Swami admitted that to give full details of this expansive material universe would be impossible. But nevertheless, he wanted to give the king as much knowledge as he had received through the parampara system. We should conclude that if one cannot comprehend the material expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one certainly cannot estimate the expansiveness of the spiritual world. The Brahma Samhita confirms this, 5.33. Advaitam achyutam anadim anantarupam adyam purana purusham navayuvanam cha. The limits of expansions of Govinda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, cannot be estimated by anyone, even a person as perfect as Brahma, not to speak of tiny scientists whose senses and instruments are all imperfect and who cannot give us information of even this one universe. We should therefore be satisfied with the information obtainable from the Vedic sources, as spoken by authorities like Sukadeva Goswami. There it is. Text 5. The planetary system, known as Mandala, resembles a lotus flower, and its seven islands resemble the whorl of that flower. The length and breadth of the island known as Jambudvipa, which is situated in the middle of the world, are 1 million yojanas, 8 million miles. Jambudvipa is round like the leaf of a lotus flower. In Jambudvipa, there are 9 divisions of land, each with a length of 9,000 yojanas, that is 72,000 miles. There are 8 mountains that mark the boundaries of these divisions and separate them nicely. Now, how come there's no knowledge like this in modern science? Because modern scientists are bogus, and their ability to uh, research the universe is very, very tangential. It's not really significant. Look at all this uh, uh, high level uh, knowledge of the universe that's being given in the uh, Srimad Bhagavatam. Purport: Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura gives the following quotation from the Vayu Purana, wherein the locations of the various mountains, beginning with the Himalayas, are described. Text number 7. Amidst these divisions, or Varsas, is the Varsa named Ilavrita, which is situated in the middle of the world of the lotus. Within Ilavrita Varsa is Sumeru Mountain, which is made of gold. Sumeru Mountain is like the pericarp of the lotus-like Blue Mandala planetary system. The mountain's height is the same as the width of the Jambu Dvipa, or in other words, 100,000 yojanas, or 800,000 miles. Of that, 16,000 yojanas, or 128,000 miles, are within the earth, and therefore the mountain's height above the earth is 84,000 yojanas, or 672,000 miles. The mountain's width is 32,000 yojanas, or 256,000 miles, at its summit, and 16,000 yojanas at its base. Wow, this is real science now. Text 8. Just north of Ilavrita Varsa and going further northward, one after another, there are 3 mountains named Nila, Sveta, and Shingavan. These mark the borders of the 3 Varsas named Ramyaka, Hiran Maya, and Kuru, and separate them from one another. The width of these mountains is 2,000 yojanas, or 16,000 miles. Lengthwise, they extend east and west to the beaches of the ocean of salt water. Wow. Going from south to north, the length of each mountain is 1/10 that of the previous mountain, but the height of them all is the same. Okay. Purport. In this regard, Madhvacharya quotes the following verses from the Brahmanda Purana. It appears from these verses that aside from the sun and moon, there is an invisible planet, oh boy, called Rahu. The movements of Rahu cause both the solar and lunar eclipses. Let's say it. The movements of Rahu cause both solar and lunar eclipses. We suggest that the modern expeditions attempting to reach the moon are mistakenly going to Rahu. Thank you, Prabhupada. They have never really gone to the moon, but they have gone to Rahu, this uh, this invisible planet. Wow. Now we're getting to real astrological knowledge here. Text number 9. Similarly, south of Ilavrita Varsa and extending from east to west are 3 great mountains named from north to south: Nishadha, Hemakuta, and Himalaya. Each of them is 10,000 yojanas or 80,000 miles high. They mark the boundaries of the 3 Varsas named Harivarsa, Kimpurusha Varsa, and Bharata Varsa, or India. Text number 10. So, in the same way, west and east of Ilavrita Varsa are the 2 great mountains named Malyavam and Gandhamadana, respectively. These 2 mountains, which are 2,000 yojanas or 16,000 miles high, extend as far as Nila Mountain in the north and Nisada in the south. They indicate the borders of Ilavrita Varsa and also the Varshas known as Ketumala and Badrasva. Purport. There are so many mountains, even on this planet Earth. We do not think that the measurement of all of them have actually been calculated. While passing over the mountainous region from Mexico to Caracas, we actually saw so many mountains that we doubt whether their height, length, and breadth have been properly measured. Wow. Therefore, as indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam by Sukadeva Goswami, we should not try to comprehend the greater mountainous areas of the universe merely by our calculations. Sukadeva Goswami has already stated that such calculations would be very difficult, even if one had a duration of life like that of Brahma. We should simply be satisfied with the statements of the authorities, like Sukadeva Goswami, and appreciate how The entire cosmic manifestation has been made possible by the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The measurements given herein, such as 10,000 yojanas or 100,000 yojanas, should be considered correct because they have been given by Sukadeva Goswami. Our experimental knowledge can neither verify nor disprove the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. We should simply hear these statements from the authorities. If we can appreciate the extensive energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that will benefit us. Very nice statement. Text number 11. On the four sides of the great mountain known as Sumeru are four mountains: Mandara, Meru Mandala, Saparsava, and Kumuda, which are like its belts. Interesting. The length and height of these mountains are calculated to be 10,000 yojanas or 80,000 miles. Text number 12. Standing like flagstaffs on the summits of these four mountains are a mango tree, a rose apple tree, a kadamba tree, and a banyan tree. Those trees are calculated to have a width of 100 yojanas or 800 miles and a height of 1,100 yojanas or 8,800 miles. Their branches also spread to a radius of 1,100 yojanas. Text 13 and 14. O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the Bharata dynasty, between these four mountains are four huge lakes. The water of the first tastes just like milk. The water of the second like honey, and that of the third like sugarcane juice. The fourth lake is filled with pure water. The celestial beings, such as the Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandharvas, who are also known as demigods, enjoy the facilities of those four lakes. Consequently, they have the natural perfections of mystic yoga, such as the power to become smaller than the smallest or greater than the greatest. There are also four celestial gardens named Nandana, Chaitrat, Rata, Vaibrirajaka, and Sarvato Bhadra. Text 15. The best of the demigods, along with their wives, who are like ornaments of heavenly beauty, meet together and enjoy within those gardens, while their glories are sung by lesser demigods known as Gandharvas. On the lower slopes of Mandara Mountain is a mango tree named Devachuta. It is 1,100 yojanas high. Mangoes as big as the mountain peaks and as sweet as nectar fall from the top of this tree for the enjoyment of the denizens of heaven. Purport. In the Vayu Purana, there is also a reference to this tree by great learned sages. Harivilas. I hope I can see that tree one of these days.
Description.
Text number 17. When all those solid fruits fall from such a height, they break, and the sweet, fragrant juice within them flows out and becomes increasingly more fragrant as it mixes with other scents. That juice cascades from the mountain in the waterfalls and becomes a river called Arun Noda, which flows pleasantly through the eastern side of Ilavrita. The pious wives say, the pious wives of the Yakshas act as personal maidservants to assist Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva. Because they drink the water of the river Arunoda, their bodies become fragrant, and as the air carries away that fragrance, it perfumes the entire atmosphere for 80 miles around. Wow. Text number 19. Similarly, the fruits of the jambu tree, which are full of full of pulp, and have very small seeds, fall from a great height and break to pieces. Those fruits are the size of elephants. Wow. And the juice gliding from them becomes a river named Jambu Nadi. This river falls a distance of 10,000 yojanas from the summit of Meru Mandara to the southern side of Ilavrita and floods the entire land of Ilavrita with juice. Purport. We can only imagine how much juice there might be in a fruit that is the size of an elephant, but has a very tiny seed. Naturally, the juice from the broken jambu fruits forms waterfalls and floods the entire land of Ilavrita. That juice produces an immense quantity of gold, as will be explained in the next verse, text 20 and 21. The mud on both banks of the river Jambu Nadi, being moistened by the flowing juice and then dried by the air and the sunshine, produces huge quantities of gold called Jambu Nada. The denizens of heaven use this gold for various kinds of ornaments. Therefore, all the inhabitants of the heavenly planets and their youthful wives are fully decorated with golden helmets, bangles, belts, and thus they enjoy life. Purport from Srila Prabhupada. By the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the rivers on some planets produce gold on their banks. The poor inhabitants of this earth, because of their incomplete knowledge, are captivated by a so-called Bhagavan who can produce a small quantity of gold. These are cheaters. However, it is understood that in a higher planetary system in this material world, the mud on the banks of the Jambu Nadi mixes with jambu juice, reacts with the sunshine in the air, and automatically produces huge quantities of gold. Wow. Plus, the men and women are decorated there by various golden ornaments, and they look very nice. Unfortunately, on Earth, there is such a scarcity of gold that the governments of the world try to keep it in reserve and issue paper currency because that currency is not backed up by gold. The paper they distribute as money is worthless. But nevertheless, the people on earth are very proud of material achievement. In modern times, girls and ladies have ornaments made of plastic instead of gold, and plastic utensils are used instead of golden ones. Yet, people are very proud of their material wealth. Therefore, the people of this age are described as Manda, Sumanda Matayo, Manda Bhagya Ki, Upadruta, Bhagavatam 1.1.10. In other words, they are extremely bad and slow to understand the opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They have been described as Sumanda Mataya because of their conceptions, because their conceptions are so crippled that they accept a bluffer who produces a little gold to be God because they have no gold in their possession. They are actually poverty stricken and therefore they are considered unfortunate. Wow. Sometimes these unfortunate people want to be promoted to the heavenly planets to achieve fortunate positions, as described in this verse. But pure devotees of the Lord are not at all interested in such opulence. Indeed, devotees sometimes compare the color of gold to that of bright golden stool. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed devotees not to be allured by golden ornaments and beautifully decorated women. Nadanam najanam nasundarim. A devotee should not be allured by gold, beautiful women, or the prestige of having many followers. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, therefore, confidentially prayed, Mama Janmani Janmani Sware Bhavatad Bhakti Rahaitaki. Twai. My Lord, please bless me with your devotional service. I do not want anything else. A devotee may pray to be delivered from this material world. That is his only aspiration. Ayinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddho. Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Stita Dulisadvisam Vichintaya. The humble devotee simply prays to the Lord, kindly pick me up from the material world, which is full of varieties of material opulence, and keep me under the shelter of your lotus feet. Shri Das Thakur prays, Kaha Prabhu Nanda Sutta Rishabhanu Sutta Yuta Karuna Karaha E Vara Narottama Dasakaya Na De Pen Iha Rangapaya Toma Vinake Ache Amara. O my Lord, O son of Maharaj, O son of Nanda Maharaj, how you are standing before now you are standing before me with your consort, the daughter of Rishabhanu, Shrimati Radharani. Kindly accept me as the dust of your lotus feet. Wow. Please do not kick me away, for I have no other shelter. Similarly, Prabodhananda Saraswati indicates that the position of the demigods who are decorated with golden helmets and other ornaments is no better than a phantasmagoria. Tridasa pur akasa pushpayate. A devotee is never allured by such opulences. He simply aspires to become the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We'll stop there. Are there any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
What does phantasmagoria means? I was reading a dictionary, and it is written there a sequel of real or imaginary images like those seen in the dream.
Gloria. What is it? Phantasma.
Phantasmagoria.
Yeah. It means there's something that is unimaginable. It is something so wonderful you cannot imagine it.
So the position of demigod is unimaginable.
Yeah, it's unimaginably beautiful.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, my dear devotees. We are hearing the real geography, not the junk geography they teach in school. And that just proves that they meaning the scientists and so forth, have not really studied the Earth and the planets. They've hardly touched even a few pebbles in the ocean of knowledge. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Dandavat Pranam Jai Shri Prabhupada. Maharaj, you were reading all the measurements of how the Meru mountain, how big is the Jambu Phala and all. How do they get all that measurements and all, Prabhu? Is like Rishis and all, they in their meditation, they will come to know, or how we are getting all those measurements, Maharaj?
Well, we are not getting those measurements. These are uh, very exalted devotees that are getting these measurements. Uh, so let's see where it says that. 1 second.
In 10th text. In text number 10.
It's number 10.
Last few lines.
Where's that? Text number 10.
It says the
Show me
measurements.
Canto 5, Chapter 16. What?
Text number 10.
Okay.
Last 5-6 lines.
Text number 10. Okay, you read it. Go ahead.
The measurements given here, such as 10,000 yojanas or 100,000 yojanas, should be considered correct because they have been given by Sukhdev Goswami. Our experimental knowledge can neither verify nor disprove the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. We should simply hear these statements from the authorities. If we can appreciate the extensive energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that will benefit us.
It's a wonderful statement. If we should simply hear these statements from the authorities, if we can appreciate the extensive energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that will benefit us. Here it is. Okay.
Thank you,
Obviously,
Guru Maharaj.
what's that?
Yeah, one more question, Maharaj. Follow-up question. Maharaj,
Yes.
in the previous days, why they measure with yojana? Yojana is what I was searching. It is one yojana is equal to eight
Eight,
miles. 8 miles.
eight, yeah.
Uh, Maharaj, why yojana was? Uh, what is the relevance actually? Why yojana is discontinued after some time? If everything is measured in yojana, miles, why miles came into
Yeah.
picture? I don't know, Maharaj.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay, Maharaj. Yeah, but there is a conversion also. The conversion is given by according to Srila Jiva Goswami. That's what they say.
Then we should accept it.
Yes, Maharaj. That's good, Maharaj.
Yeah. But you know what 8 miles are. So, therefore, it's not something incomprehensible. One yojana is about 8 miles. So, Vedic tradition, they use the breadth and width in yojanas. But they're dealing with very, very long, you know, uh, phenomenon, such as 2,000 yojanas or 16,000 miles high. And that, so there are mountains, the Malyavan and Gandham Madana. These two mountains are 20,000 yojanas or 16,000 miles high. And they extend as far as Nila Mountain in the north and Nisada in the south. They indicate the borders of Ilavrata, Ilavrita, Varsha, and also the Varshas known as Ketumala and Bhadrasva. The scientists don't have all this knowledge. And the explorers have not explored this, but obviously somebody has. Uh, Prabhupada says there are so many mountains, even on this planet Earth. We do not think that the measurements of all of them have actually been calculated. While passing over the mountainous region from Mexico to Caracas, we actually saw so many mountains that we doubt whether their height, length, and breadth have been properly measured. Therefore, as indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam by Sukadeva Goswami, we should not try to comprehend the greater mountainous areas of the universe merely by our calculations. Sukadeva Goswami has already stated that such calculations would be very difficult, even if one had a duration of life like that of Rama. We should certainly be satisfied with the statements of authorities like Sukadeva Goswami and appreciate how the entire cosmic manifestation has been made by the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The measurements given herein as 10,000 yojanas or 100,000 yojanas should be considered correct because they have been given by Sukadeva Goswami. Our experimental knowledge can neither verify nor disprove the statements of the Srimad Bhagavatam. We should simply hear these statements from the authorities. If we can appreciate the extensive energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that will benefit us. There it is. That's our takeaway from today. Yes.
Maharaj, one question: what benefit Prabhupada is referring? Like benefit us, like just to understand how vast is Krishna's material creation. Like, if you can elaborate more, like what benefit we will get.
Well, we will understand the glorious width and breadth of the universe and understand that the mundane scientists' calculations are not correct. The Srimad Bhagavatam calculations are correct. So it says, there are so many mountains even on this planet Earth. We do not think that the measurements of all of them have actually been calculated. There it is. While passing over the mountainous region from Mexico to Caracas, we actually saw so many mountains that we doubt whether their height, length, and breadth have been properly measured. Therefore, as indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam by Sukadeva Goswami, we should not try to comprehend the greater mountainous areas of the universe merely by our calculations. Sukadeva Goswami has already stated that such calculations would be very difficult even if one had a duration of life like that of Brahma. We should simply be satisfied with the statements of authorities like Sukadeva Goswami and appreciate how the entire cosmic manifestation has been made possible by the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The measurements given herein, such as 10,000 yojanas or 100,000 yojanas, should be considered correct because they have been given by Sukadeva Goswami. Our experimental knowledge can neither verify nor disprove the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. We should simply hear these statements from the authorities. If we can appreciate the extensive energy of the Supreme Persona Godhead, that will benefit us. Here it is. That's our takeaway for today. The main takeaway is we should simply be satisfied with the statements of authorities like Sukadeva Goswami and appreciate how the entire cosmic manifestation has been made possible by the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here it is. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is very interesting. I like how Prabhupada is saying, while passing over the mountainous region from Mexico to Caracas. So Caracas is in, let's see, we know where Mexico is, but Caracas is south of Mexico. It's in the, what do you call that? Caracas is in South America, below Mexico. So, while passing over the mountainous region of Mexico to Caracas, we actually saw so many mountains that we doubt whether their height, length, and breadth have been properly measured. Therefore, as indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam by Sukadeva Goswami, we should not try to comprehend the greater mountainous areas of the universe merely by our calculations. Sukadeva Goswami has already stated that such calculations would be very difficult, even if one had a duration of life like that of Brahma. We should simply be satisfied with the statements of authorities like Sukadeva Goswami and appreciate how the entire cosmic manifestation has been made possible by the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The measurements given herein, such as 10,000 yojanas or 100,000 yojanas, should be considered correct because they have been given by Sukadeva Goswami. Our experimental knowledge can neither verify or disprove the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. We should simply hear these statements from the authorities. If we can appreciate the extensive energy of the Supreme Personality Godhead, that will benefit us. There it is, Haribol. This is our takeaway for today, my dear devotees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
This is like more of the summary for the whole chapter
Yeah,
in one paragraph.
yes. So, where did they actually stop? The text 22?
Yes, 21 you have completed, Maharaj.
Yeah, so we'll start text 22.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, that's what we're going to do. Thank you very much, my dear devotees. Please chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And don't be disturbed if you can't measure Mount Meru.